The end of 2020 is finally here, and we got a lot to talk about in regards to what is the number one story, gaming-wise, that we talked about here on The Medicine. See as which game platform had the biggest story 2020. Let's get into it. What's up, people? What's up, people? What's up, people? It is your boy MM2K back again with another episode of The Medicine. Glad to be back. Do me a huge favor before we get into this one. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, rock those bells for notifications, please, so you know when your boy's dropping these doses. I appreciate all of y'all straight up. Y'all know the deal. Y'all know the reason, and y'all know the slogan. I am not too proud to ask. Let's get into it. Okay, let's talk about it, y'all. We had several contenders for the gaming story of 2020. And what we like to do here on The Medicine is we like to be the alternative to the norm that is out there when it comes to gaming. When it comes to reporting and talking about gaming, there's not a lot of research out there. And there's not a lot of proper due diligence. There's a lot of flag waving, you know, daddy device holding and kissing and loving Amanda hug and kiss type of crazy notions going on out here. And what we try to do here on this platform is we try to be a counterbalance to that. We urge people to do due diligence. We call out those that don't do it. And when what we've said come to fruition, which seems to be happening all the time, we bring it back up just so you're aware of how wrong you were and not again doing your due diligence, because it's not so much that we were right. It's not us. We didn't make the facts make themselves. So it's not about we told you so and none of that stuff. It's about you understanding that the lanes of which you absorb your information may be taking you down the wrong path. And it's probably better that you get a more well-rounded portfolio of podcasts, shows, comics, whatever the hell you listening to, t-shirts, whatever you need to change it all. So you can understand the trajectory that these platform holders, these corporations and the likes are heading into, so you're not sent so far into the stratosphere not knowing where the hell you're at, all right? Now with all that said, here are the 5 biggest stories that we've talked about here on this platform, going in chronological order backwards until we get to the number one story. And again, we've talked about everything: Xbox, PlayStation, Nintendo, and even Stadia and cloud gaming. So let's start with the number 5 story. The number 5 story, it was PC AMD versus NVIDIA battle as far as GPUs and CPUs. That was a big whoop to do, and it seemed like that when people thought AMD had the leg up at like the 11th hour, it seemed like that NVIDIA is still holding on to its edge. Trying to find one of these cards was hard. I mean, and these cards are beautiful and they're a lot more cost friendly, but again, because a lot of people can't get access to them, you know what I mean, to experience this was the story that came in at number 5. Number 4, which is going to surprise a lot of people that follow my content elsewhere. Number 4 is Stadia's roller coaster ride for mindshare. No, this isn't higher, only because yes, Stadia is something that I am a big fan of. Y'all know I love the platform and how enthusiastic I am of it. And you know how vigorous we fought against the lies and the misinformation that was being told about the platform. But at the end of the day, the platform is just where they wanted it to be at release at November. You know what I'm saying? They wanted it to be at this place in November. But again, because of the lies, the misinformation, and in large part, their own misgivings, they had to dig themselves out of a hole. Towards the end of 2020, they did dig themselves out of a hole. It was a roller coaster ride to where they went from zero to hero, you know what I'm saying? Thanks to Cyberpunk 2077, iOS support, and a gangbuster of other things. But at the end of the day, this comes in at number 4 on our list. Stadia's roller coaster ride for mindshare. Number 3. Again, this is going to surprise and upset a lot of people, but again, when I get to my number 1, you'll understand. Number 3 is the unprecedented reign of the Nintendo Switch, a hybrid system topping NPDs in like 24, 26 plus months now at the time of this recording. in hardware and in exclusives. Like, the Switch is just dominating NPD, which ranks game sales and purchases and stuff in the largest console gaming market, which is Northern America. Stadia is just, Switch is just dominated there. Hopefully Stadia will dominate too, but Switch is just dominating there. You know what I'm saying? And nobody saw this coming. I remember when the Switch did launch, now that I want to, if you want to make a contrast to Stadia and Switch, when Switch did launch, people were saying the same things about it that they were saying about Stadia. Oh, it sucks. Just deal with it, this, that, and the other. And again, these are people that are just talking out of emotions and not doing due diligence. It was too early to write the Switch off. And I remember telling people that, because I remember being at work before the pandemic hit, and people, adults that I know, buying the Switch in masses in ways that I saw with the original Wii. And I'm like, wow. And they're like, I love this thing. You know what I'm saying? So again, it's important for us to curb our enthusiasm or our emotions and get with the times and really do our due diligence before we put ourselves out here. But the number 3 story is the unprecedented manner in which the Switch is just dominating NPDs. Now, this is really going to rub people the wrong way, but again, I urge you to wait for my number 1, because it'll all make sense. Number 2 is PlayStation 5 continuing its dominance at launch, or Sony's dominance at launch. I know they seem to be number 1 as far as the elite consoles are concerned, as far as the big 2. And it's a feat to behold, especially when everybody thought that Xbox was going to throw everything but the kitchen sink at PlayStation. Xbox did the reveal at the Game Awards, and then the most powerful console moniker, only for PlayStation to really be the one that everybody wants. It's on SNL skits, it's on Rick and Morty, it's all over the place. PlayStation is just dominating, and it's doing so more so than PlayStation 4 did around this time, which is a huge story, because Xbox was amidst some issues at the beginning of the Xbox One launch. All those issues are quote unquote supposed to be gone for the most part. With this one, we got a whole new regime, a better footing, you know what I'm saying? So it just tells you how much of a dominant brand the PlayStation brand is going into launch. And I'm gonna say personally, this is not one of the most stellar launches that it has, but it's just running off of brand power. You know what I mean? So with that, kudos, But the number 1 story is, and y'all had to guess it is Xbox related, but this is really gonna either tickle your fancy or upset you, make you want to turn off the video, but you shouldn't. You should listen to everything that I got to say in totality, because I think it's going to be very impactful, and it's something that should last with you into 2021, or to help guide you into 2021, because it's something that helped guide me going into 2019 and 2020, that helped ease my mind and solidify my gaming purchase decisions. And that is the number 1 story that is Xbox related. The story of 2020 is the disappointment that is the Xbox Series X. Look, man, here, I gotta take a sip for this one. There's no other way to say it but to say it. We talked about it with the number 2 story, which is a PlayStation 5. The Xbox was is in a lot better place than the Xbox One was at launch. The Xbox One was mired in controversy because, not so much because of the because of the E3, but the E3 wasn't bad. It was the TV reveal that they did that fall prior, or not that fall, that spring prior. That's what really began to upset some people, and then it made E3 that year a little bit more disastrous for Xbox, as far as mindshare was concerned. And then they had to change the regime, new CEO at Microsoft, new regime at Xbox. A lot of things changed. They started from scratch. They're now about this cloud, and subscription-based services. And then they, created this Game Pass thing, and then extended it to No Gamers Left Behind, bought 13 new studios. just the list goes on and on and on. Here's the thing though. As I was looking at all this, I noticed that Xbox always seemed to be promising you something, but never fully delivering. Even with the Xbox One X, great console for third-party play, but it really didn't live to its potential. It was supposed to blow your socks off, and it didn't do that. I mean, it got some accolades because of Red Dead Redemption 2, but it really didn't blow your socks off. And it just, and so on and so on. And then so as we got into 2020's launch of the 9th generation of consoles, I started seeing some of the same rhetoric, and I tried urging my Xbox brethren, be cautious, be leery, be careful here, because this is going to be a repeat of the Xbox One X launch, where you got this quote unquote powerful machine, but it's less popular and things are starting to go downhill. And now you got the fact that even though what PlayStation did was put its important games out there and made them look better than what's out there on the Series X. I mean, not on the Series X, on the Xbox One X back then. That was the thing that toppled the Xbox One X, is the PlayStation 4 Slim having games looking better than one on the that had 5 times the teraflops in a lot of ways, or 4 times the teraflops, right? Well, now you have a situation to where the PlayStation 5 was supposed to be the least competent, at least with third party, and across the board, PlayStation is outdoing the world's most powerful console. And see, the crazy thing about it is watching my Xbox brethren trying to rationalize all this. I mean, I see Xbox people trying to explain with their own logic why Sony is doing well, not realizing that it's their logic that put them in a never land in the first place, an imaginary land in the first place. Your logic sucks. I mean, I was listening to a podcast that I really don't even listen to, but I just wanted to tap into the thought process, like, how are they coping with this, with everything that's happened at launch? And I heard something to the likes of, well, Xbox, may not be doing as well as Sony, but see, Xbox has great co-op games, and those co-op games are what's going to propel the system, or something to that effect, right? Really trying to microanalyze this in a wrong way, again, using that silly logic that led them to believe some of the stuff that we were warning them of on this platform. You can't deny that, whether you agree with us or not. All the things that we told you to be leery of came to fruition with this launch, okay? And when I listened to that logic, I said to myself, here's what they're not realizing, and I'm taking this from Next Gen 720. The problem with Xbox is that even though it's doing some things itself exclusively, like a lot of co-op games, they are not the best co-op games. Where Sony doing things exclusively, focusing heavy on the single player games, they're considered the best single player games. So even though Sony may not have a Sea of Thieves or something, or Grounded or something like that, those games don't compel me to buy an Xbox, because they're not considered the best co-op games out there. Crackdown 3, even Gears 5, they're not considered the best games out there, to where Last of Us, Ghost of Tsushima, you know what I'm saying, and all of PlayStation games are considered the best single player games. So I gotta get a PlayStation for them. So this is what you guys are not realizing, that it's about the quality. It's not that Xbox is doing this and PlayStation. It's about the quality. If you're going to specialize in something, make sure it's the best. Because all PlayStation people gotta say is, look, I may not play Sea of Thieves, but if I want the best co-op experience, all I gotta do is get Borderlands. All I gotta do is get an Ubisoft game. And skip Xbox and what they're doing over there, because it's not the best. Xbox has to be the best at what they do, and y'all gotta stop making excuses for this the mediocre stuff. Well, 2 years later, Sea of Thieves is good now. No, that's not acceptable. Out of the box, these games have to make waves. Period. And I don't want to hear, well, you know what? but so-and-so 2023, 2024 is coming, and when they do that, no. It's the same logic that failed with the Xbox One X, and I understand I fell victim to it too. But as I was being told by the people that I was being hard-hitted against, is that once you go into a generation and people have already established their libraries, where their friends are playing and all that other stuff, you can't come back from that. It's the secret to success to the 360. The 360 launched earlier, yes, but once people started playing the 360, started liking it and saying, oh, I'm comfortable with this, I'm fine with this is cheaper than that, then they just started going there. And PlayStation 3 really couldn't recover, even though they were there, but they couldn't recover the way that they wanted to. They couldn't dominate the way that they wanted to. But this is what you guys got to understand. Stop with this, well, it's coming, it's coming, it's coming. It could be too little too late. Microsoft, if they really want to turn this around, by the end of 2022, early 2023 by the latest, they got to start knocking it out of the park. 2021 is looking a little grim, except for Halo. 2021 is looking grim because y'all just spent $7.5 billion on Bethesda, and their next two offerings are exclusive to PlayStation, for crying out loud. So 2021 is going to look grim until Halo comes out. But after Halo comes out 2022, early 2023, the latest, y'all got to start knocking it out of the park. It can't be keep talking about, oh, well, it's coming, because it's going to be too late by then. Okay? I also see a lot of Xbox podcasters trying to make cover for the lack of due diligence and foresight that they had and misinforming gamers. It's bad out here. It's by making excuses. Well, I made predictions and all this stuff. No, you just simply were riding the wave of Xbox enthusiasm by people that were clicking their heels and twinkling their eyes like they were trying to get out of Kansas or get back to Kansas, but not telling them the cold hard truth. I get it, it was lucrative. And I get it, a lot of you just wanted to be in fantasy land and not realize what was going on outside in the real world. But look what it's done to you long term. You guys sound so deflated. Like the enthusiasm is going so deflated. Ain't nothing like keeping it real on your platform, but still saying, you know what, I love this. I love what's going on here, but I got to keep it real. I got to hold their feet to the fire. Microsoft, you got to do this. Instead of wood buffing and instead of making excuses for the stuff that they're not doing right. And lastly, now I'm starting to see the continued hyping of the perpetual state of wait by fantasizing over bogus rumors. Now there's this Ubisoft Plus rumor that the whole Ubisoft Plus library is coming into Game Pass. That's ridiculous. Ubisoft Plus in its entirety is competition to Game Pass. Them or PlayStation would never put it on their platform as is. Now, if they come up with a mini-me, like how EA Play is a mini-me of EA Origins or Origins Access, whatever the hell it's called, then yes, but that product doesn't exist right now. So stop grasping the straws, get on the horn, and simply tell your predominant message should be, Phil, we want better and we want better now. If you can't, if the first party studios are not up to snuff yet, start making some serious second party deals ASAP. Now you started seeing some of that with Ark, and I think it was another game out there where they made a second, but they need more, and they need more that are going to come to fruition in 2021. Because Ark ain't 2020 until 2022, 2023, right? They got to have a better 2021 than one that's being projected. And it's not going to be like that if y'all keep damage controlling. Y'all keep making these explanations and this crazy logic that makes no sense. Y'all, the podcast is sitting there trying to do damage control like y'all going to get some lawsuits. No, the people should be doing their own due diligence and not just taking everything that you're saying for verbatim. And lastly, these clutching to these crazy rumorvilles. It's time to start putting people's feet to the fire. That's the only way you're gonna get better. So, with that said, that's the story of 2020. The rise and fall of the Xbox Series X this year. You know, we at least thought that it was gonna dominate third parties, and it's not even doing that. And now we don't know when the tools and the kits or the toolkits are gonna be up to par. Man, it's a sad story indeed, but a precautionary tale, and one that hopefully going into 2021, y'all will do better with. With that said, that's it from your boy. Hope you enjoyed all this. If you did, click the links below. They lead you to the Broadband Bullies, PNTS Network, Hard Knock Digital Culture, and yes, the Stadia dosage. And with that said, you all have a wonderful New Year's. Have a wonderful gaming day. Peace.